Another lovely day in Alaska. That is the Norwegian Joy's sister ship, the Norwegian Bliss, built 1 year later. It's 1 year newer, and we caught up with her today here in Skagway, Alaska, which was like the home of the Alaskan gold rush. As you can see here, they even made it a national historical park. This place is tiny, smaller than Ketchikan and Juneau, so we should be able to walk around and see the entire thing. These train rails are really narrow. They're only about 3 feet apart instead of like 4 or 5 feet apart. They're gonna pack them full of tourists. Woo! You go up these narrow rails up the mountain. Everything seems normal until you get to this thing. This rotary snowplow could take out 12-foot snow embankments. No problems.
Downtown Skagway.
Behind me in downtown Skagway is the Morning Wood Hotel, and if you look on the corner, we've got the Happy Endings Saloon. What a pair. Skagway is home to about 900 year-round residents, but any given day in the middle of the tourist summer season, it could swell 10,000 people past that. So tourism is their number one moneymaker here. It's no longer gold, that's for sure. Check out this lovely front yard ornament. Oh, that's sculptural. Added bird for production value. The Skagwayans, the Skagwayers, the Skaganites even have invented their own form of sporting. This is a ice rink in the winter, and as you can see behind me, they also have ice basketball. That sounds completely safe. I'm at the Gold Rush Cemetery, which has over 160 interred here and was established in about 1898. But they only buried folks here for about 10 years. So after 1908, there were only 2 families that still were allowed to be buried here. This guy who was buried here, he insisted on having the largest gold nugget securely fastened to the tree nearby at his gravesite. And I think the graves are just interspersed throughout the awesome woods and the mountainside. This graveyard is filled with the town's villains and the town's heroes, as well as local merchants and fishermen and people who succeeded and didn't quite succeed at finding the gold they desired. And then the Skagway River runs right through here all the way to the ocean. This guy's got the biggest monument here, and he is the town hero. He's the guy who killed the town villain, Soapy. In fact, so many people didn't like Soapy, there was a anti-Soapy vigilante club, and this guy was celebrated for mortally wounding Soapy. Unfortunately, this guy also took a simultaneous bullet, and he died 12 days later. This was in 1898. Very much the last frontier. This place was still the Wild West, Wild Northwest. I can see why they stopped putting people in the ground here. It's very rocky and there's trees everywhere, so they weren't exactly the easiest sites to dig. However, it is very peaceful and serene here. Just a short hike up the hill from the cemetery. So the gold rush here didn't happen until 1898, and tens of thousands of people stampeded the area, and they were known as stampeders. And they came up through here, through the White Pass, into the interior of Alaska to hopefully make their fortune. They had to lay track or walk up the mountain, and it was quite a journey, and a lot didn't make it. In fact, just to make the journey, the government made them have a year's rations with them. So not only did they have to walk, they had to carry 400, 600 pounds of crap. So it took a long time. Right towards the end of the gold rush, they finally finished the train. So as it was winding down, they completed the tracks that went up through the White Pass. Up until then, they pretty much had to walk over the mountain. Getting stuff up here was difficult enough. So once things were up here, they stayed up here. This is an old steam train from the original locomotive line that went up the White Pass. Thanks for tagging along and watching this series on my Alaska adventures.